Good morning. In the last 10 minutes, if you will, on this morning of Ash Wednesday, I'm Pastor Powell, and I'm excited as we begin this Lenten journey. Facebook family and friends, this has been an incredible opportunity for us to reconnect during this season. For Ash Wednesday service that we have tonight, kicks off our Lenten experience. It's interesting during the time and period of Lent, it's a time where Christian community has set aside to recalibrate, if you will, by way of fasting and praying. I don't know about you, but if you've been in touch at all with anything that's been happening in the current world we live in today, there's never been a more pertinent and more apropos time for the church to band together and the people and the saints of God to band together to really seek God's face for wisdom in this season. It's no mystery that from the onset of last year and into this year, we've been couched into the book of Ezekiel. So today, as we kick off Lent, I want to go back to a chapter in Ezekiel that we looked at in our Bible study not too long ago, and I encourage you definitely to check out the former broadcast as well. Ezekiel chapter 9. And I'm only going to read two verses out of the third and the fourth verse. It says, Now the glory of God of Israel went up from above the cherubim where it had been and moved to the threshold of the temple. Then the Lord God called to the man clothed in linen who had writing kit at his side and said to him, Go throughout the city of Jerusalem and put a mark on the foreheads of those who grieve and lament over all the detestable things that are done in it. As God was exacting what was considered to be justice or judgment for the people of Israel by nature of allowing their adversaries to actually have them um, exiled and enslaved. It was during this period that they realized that some of the trauma and drama and things that they were going through, some of the areas of pain, heartache, and despair were brought on by their own levels of indiscretion, places where they missed the mark, places where they'd allowed themselves to be caught up with the things of the outside, so much so that it blended in a place that God did not find himself there. It's a strange place when we can get so caught up with our own understanding of success, life, things that are great, that we miss what it means to really serve God. We can get caught up in our own ideals, our own understandings, our own moments and places. Things happen. And it takes a moment for us to recalibrate. That's what Lent is all about. It says, listen, I want you to place a mark on the foreheads of those who recognize the places where they misstep, those who see the detestable things that are going on. And I don't know about you, but I'm looking and I know for a fact there are some areas and places where God is just not pleased. But I'm encouraged with the fact that during the Lenten period, as I fast, as I pray, and as I seek God's face for wisdom in this season, I know that ultimately it will allow me an opportunity to not only draw closer to Him, but also to find myself recalibrated back. And anyone who says, you know what, I really don't need a recalibration. I've been doing this right the whole time. Well, you lie to yourself because we misstep every day. We misstep from moment to moment. But what this season does is it forces you to do two things. We are making sacrifices in this season to show not only our dedication, but also our ability to rely solely on Him. So some of those creature comforts that we're used to, we give them up during the season of Lent to show God that ultimately, God, you are first and foremost in our life above what our desires are. It's our desire, honestly, to echo your heart and how we operate, and how we move, and how we deal with one another. And so I'm encouraged in this moment as we get started because what happens during the period of fasting is God has an opportunity to minister to you in places that you were distracted by your wants. So as you deny yourself, you open yourself to hear from God in new ways. So for 40 days, will be in a fasting period. Now, what that looks like is simply this. Of course, in about 5 minutes, it'll be 12 noon. The fast will begin. And on the website, you can see, if you go back to the former post on this page, it can give you kind of a list of some of the do's and don'ts, or the things that you would try to do. Like I said, try and take as close as possible with what is within your ability. The idea is that at some point, you deny yourself in order to seek God's face. Fasting is not a diet. I said that before. It's not a diet. It's an intentional uh, sacrifice made to connect with God, and God honors that. And so on Ash Wednesday, what we do is, traditionally behind the church, we put ashes on your forehead as a symbolism to recognize two things. Number one, from dust you came, and from dust you will return. But also ultimately, ashes were to signify lamenting or grieving sin, grieving areas that you didn't quite make it, grieving areas the same way that we do on First Sunday, if you will, to remember and recall God's forgiveness because of our wretchedness. So join me tonight, 7 o'clock. I promise I will not be there long, but it will kick off our Lenten experience. And I guarantee you this. Watch what God does over the next 40 days.